This is People in Pedicabs with Security Experts. Hey everyone, welcome back to another People in Pedicabs with Security Pros. I'm here today, I'm very excited to be here today with Larry Whiteside. How you doing, Larry?
Hey, I am wonderful. It's a beautiful day in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's so gorgeous. I mean, I hear you're from Florida, so maybe not quite as warm as there, but
Right.
For me, it's warm.
Yeah, well, you see I've got a sweater on, right? So,
Yeah. Well, Larry, before we jump in, why don't you just introduce yourself to maybe our audience as well? What do you do, or what have you done throughout your career?
So that's to shorten the story up as much as possible. I'm an ex-Air Force officer.
Awesome.
Did cyber back then when I was doing it in the 90s, it was information security.
Absolutely.
So did information security in the Air Force, got out, been a CISO multiple times over in different industries in the private sector, and now I'm just looking for different things to do. But the most important thing that I do is I'm running a not-for-profit. The not-for-profit is geared at increasing the number of minorities and women in cyber.
Oh, that is such a great thing.
We recognize that we've got a diversity challenge, and so we've spent too much time talking about it, right?
Yeah.
You hear talks, you hear webinars, everybody talks about the problem, but there aren't many organizations taking action. So for me, it's about taking action.
Sounds like that's a passion.
It is.
And I think that, obviously we all know why there should be diversity just for equality, but
Yep.
I think business owners, they get so much value from diversity. When you have all kinds of people that have the same backgrounds and think the same way, you're not getting the diversity brings benefits
That's
of
right.
different ways of thought, which is really great for solving problems.
It has been statistically proven that organizations, the most diverse organizations are the most successful, both financially and from a leadership and what's the word I'm looking for? Organizational culture standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. We'll talk a little bit more about the ICMCP
Yep.
at the end of this, but since we're talking about diversity in cybersecurity and kind of the human element, we're here at RSA right now,
Yep.
and human element is the theme. I've talked to a lot of folks about it. What are your thoughts when you hear that theme in cybersecurity?
So I've said for a long time, I call us carbon-based life forms. Right?
Yeah.
So
Meatbots.
as long as carbon-based life forms are part of the decision tree
Yeah.
as it relates to information, how it's used, where it goes, we're gonna it's important,
Yeah.
right? And so we've got to continue to educate us, right? We are always going to be the weakest link.
Absolutely.
And so we've got to continue to build programs that make sense and relate to us as carbon-based life forms who are in this field.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in this field concentrate, even me, I'm guilty of it as a nerd, on the technical problem.
Right.
And let's imagine some magical solution that never will exist, but let's imagine we perfectly solved every technical problem. There's no technical vulnerabilities, all those holes were closed. The human element would still be, people would still make a mistake despite the technology, so I agree.
And it is a reality, right? So if you really think about it, a lot of times mistakes that get made isn't because someone's trying to be malicious.
No, it's just
right? It's someone's trying to be more efficient.
Do their
They're
job.
trying to do their job better. They're trying to find a way to utilize what they have in front of them or other things that they see to be better at what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Right? So being able to if you in the healthcare field, which I've got a lot of experience in, physicians tell you that seconds matter.
Oh,
so they're
absolutely.
trying to shave seconds off of decision points.
Yeah.
Right? So authentication, all of these things, for them, seconds matter. So for the regular
Friction could
user,
hurt lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the reality is, even though for everybody there's not a real life impact from a life and death standpoint, there's an impact of quality of life for seconds and minutes. And so everybody's
and
always
business
trying
or
to find
money, whatever
That's
your
exactly
organization
right.
does, those seconds always matter.
Right.
That's an excellent point. So I think like you might have even been coming longer. We've both been at RSA probably at least a decade.
Yep.
So sometimes it's been there, done that.
Yep.
Any new themes you see arising, or what do you think are like the big topics besides, of course, the human element?
You know, I'm not seeing any new things. The one thing that continues I continue to see, and it reminds me every time I come to RSA, is the amount of money in cyber.
Yeah.
The amount of money being poured into our field is just amazing. But with money comes problems, right? More money, more problems. Isn't that what they say, right?
Yeah.
So a thing that I've started to see over the last couple of years, and I see it at RSA, is what I call the security charlatans.
Ah,
Right? So these companies who promise the world and say they can solve every panacea possible.
We have a silver bullet.
Yes.
Nah.
and I understand that they're trying to sell a product, but what they're doing is a disservice
Yeah, I agree.
to all of their counterparts, because now everybody else starts to try and create similar messaging to compete.
I can't agree with you more. Anytime someone says they have a silver bullet, I say they're a snake oil salesman, they're lying. We make a security product, I'm a vendor, so I have to talk about the stuff my product as well. But if you say your product's unhackable, like you remember Oracle back in the 2000s, unhackable?
Yep.
Researchers took a few months to prove that message wrong. So yeah, the security is this just ever-going challenge. You might be able to get to 99.9% of stopping stuff, but there's always going to be that trailing 0.1 that's always going to be moving.
The reality is that it's impossible for us to come up with the infinite number of ways that someone can try to take advantage of software systems, right? And so we're never going to be able to get everything right.
Yeah, the attacker kind of has the asymmetric advantage because they have to find one thing, but as you said, we're trying to protect all the possible possibilities.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it's great for us because it keeps us infinitely employed. Right?
Yeah. And it's interesting. If you want new challenges, it certainly is evolving. I mean, sometimes we get us grumpy old security guys like me get bored. I've seen that over and over again. Why are we still? But there's new stuff too.
Right.
So hopefully you don't get kept up on night, especially now that you don't have to directly do the CISO role.
Right.
But if there's one thing in security that you think should keep the industry up at night, whether it be a human element, a technical threat, just something we're not doing well, what would that be?
It is still, to this day, security basics that are not done well.
Yeah, the 101 stuff, it's crazy.
I don't understand.
It's like
30
football,
years in, we still aren't getting basic blocking and tackling done.
I actually have a Lombardi slide. My family's from Wisconsin, so I put basic. I think we've heard this stat 2 decades ago that the majority of breaches, whether it be a firewall breach, a network breach, misconfiguration. Like it was 95% a few years ago. I heard 80%, and that's the 101 blocking and tackling.
101 patching, right?
Exactly.
Patch is 6 months old.
Yeah.
Seriously,
give me a break.
Come on, not knowing that an asset existed.
Yeah.
The first premise of this is know what you have, right?
Absolutely.
And I understand.
Have you done a data audit and even know? Like you mentioned, our field is technically called information security. The truth is, we're not protecting compute. We don't want to protect computers for the sake of protecting them, other than availability.
Right.
But it's the data. And yet we don't talk about the data much.
Nope.
We talk about the things.
Nope. Yeah. And then the last part is incident response.
Absolutely.
I poll organizations and ask them, when's the last time you ran an incident response plan? If you think about the military, the military's motto is exercise, exercise, exercise.
Yeah.
Right?
You got to do it.
Practice,
do
practice,
the work.
practice. Right? And
red team, blue team.
Yes, you have to go through those exercises in order to understand and be able to respond. Our organization's ability to respond is non-existent.
Yeah.
I've gone into organizations and they've got 3 CEOs ago still listed in their incident response document.
DRBC, like if a ransomware, in 2013 proved that as much as everyone's talking about backup, no one had an incident response plan. No one was able to recover as quickly as they should. When that's probably more, you should have your backup, your disaster recovery. That should happen before prevention.
Testing backups, right? Oh,
Absolutely.
we've never actually tried to recover from the back. Wait,
Oops.
what?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Yeah, I get it. So how do we, I suspect, and we talked a little bit about this, is when people push back against security, it's because you're doing friction to their jobs. The truth is, we're security people, so it's a focus, but the average business, they just want to do their business. Security is kind of, in a way, something they have to deal with. It's something important to keep their business going, but it's not their bread and butter. So how do I think the reason they sometimes don't do the blocking and tackling is that friction. So what would you think we might be able to do to make it just easier for them to do this without affecting the business stuff they want to do day to day?
So the reality is as security professionals, we are all innate salespeople.
Yeah.
You have to be. Yeah. And what we're selling that we have the same goals of every business leader.
Yes.
Right? We're all on the same team. we want the company to make money too.
Yes.
Right? We don't
Yeah.
want to stop us from making money. But what we want to do is, we are like any other insurance model.
Yep.
Right? Auto insurance, health insurance, whatever, right? Our goal is to reduce costs later.
Yep.
Right? And so that's what we've got to help them understand. We've got to help them understand, listen, if you need to make $100 million, that's your P&L is $100 million, I want you to help. I want to help you make that $100 million.
Yeah.
Right? Let's do that. But let's do it in a way that's not going to cause $50 million in losses somewhere else.
2 years later, yeah.
Right.
And I think that's important. I think a lot of vendors that do not sell well, they like start with only the threat in their solution. And they're talking about here's what we can do.
Right.
And they don't talk to the company about what do you do? What
Right.
are your business goals?
Nope.
And you got to, I mean, the whole point of what these vendors are doing is making sure they can get to their business goals, as you said.
It's
I think that's
interesting.
excellent.
So many vendors make the businesses so generic.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in healthcare, so it's about health and it's about HIPAA. No, healthcare is broad.
A small family clinic is different than a big city hospital.
Yes.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they don't get to that level of detail or specificity with the business and the business goals because they don't really care.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's really up to us as security professionals to make sure that all the vendors that we bring in to work with us, that we're making sure that they care and they're aligning to our hardcore business needs.
That's awesome. So now I want to talk a little bit about what your passion is, the ICMCP. Maybe we should define that acronym.
Yeah.
But besides multi-race and culture, I know Women in Cybersecurity Month is coming up. So tell me a little bit about how you started that nonprofit.
Yeah, so it really was the culmination of me and a few friends going down the path of reaching out to our mentors and saying, hey, do you think this is something we can do?
Yeah.
So I was reaching out saying, is this something that organizations would fund?
Yeah.
And my buddies were reaching out saying, hey, we want to start an organization to help this.
Yeah.
And we had a mentor and alike, and he said, you two should talk to each other. And so we saw, because here's the deal. So I've been in this industry almost 30 years, and in that 30 years, no matter where I speak in the globe, 50 people or 5,000, the room is never, ever made up of more than 20% of women and minorities combined, ever.
Yeah, I believe it. I've been going to Black Hat and DEF CON, and while I'm seeing small changes the past 5 years, they're still at a very small percentage.
Right, a very small percentage. So we recognize we want to create opportunity for people that look like us.
Yeah.
We want to create opportunities for women, right? So what do we have to do? One, we have to make them aware that the career field exists.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of underserved minority communities that don't even know about the career field.
Yeah.
For them, success is go be a doctor, go be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Right.
And as you said, it's a hot place. There's money. You can go be a cybersecurity professional
right out of
and do
high
quite
school.
well. Yeah.
You can go right out of high school.
Absolutely.
College isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
This is one career field where you can right out of high school go.
Yeah, skills
live
talk
a
more than
comfortable- Yes, live a comfortable life and be good at it.
Yeah.
Right. And there are many people I know that don't have college degrees that are in this field doing extremely well. Right. And so we recognize. So there's that one. So it is awareness. The second part is then let's start. Now that we've gotten some awareness and are working on awareness, what do we do to close the skills gap to make sure that these people that we're trying to get in, these minorities and women that we want in the field, are getting the proper
equal
training
opportunity training
to get aligned with the career goals that they want, right? They want to be an analyst. What are the skills they need to be an analyst? And let's work to get them partnered with a training organization where they can do that.
Awesome. Yeah. That's great. I love it. I think we definitely need to do more. Do you think it's moving in the right direction? Because I always wonder, do you feel like, is it the industry insiders that are not being open enough to it? Or do you think I do think, like, even for cybersecurity education, regardless of ICMCP, we don't have very good cybersecurity education.
No,
it's not a field that many people realize is not only lucrative but satisfying.
Right.
Like, I mean, one of the reasons you might want to be a doctor is saving lives feels good. Right. I assume you, like me, I love technology. I love the good it can do for society.
Yep.
So to me, securing technology, no matter what organization it is kind of a satisfying goal too.
No,
so I'd love more people to see that. Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? So I don't think a lot of people tie those things together.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think they tie those together. And so when it comes to the training, right now we've got our field is one that is both technical and non-technical.
Yeah.
Right? So if you think about it, you look at RSA.
Yeah.
The largest percentage of people that are here at RSA are in sales.
Yep, sales, business.
What, what sales training exists?
Yeah.
Right? Do we know of any sales training that exists?
Yeah.
Right? I'm not aware of any.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So there's all of these different components of what training needs to be based on the goals. If you look at, we don't do career mapping. There's no defined career map for cybersecurity professionals.
And I was thinking the same thing too with marketing, right? You don't have to be the nerdy propeller head
Right.
to be. There's marketing opportunities. There's speakers. Sometimes the speakers are smart guys,
That's
but
right.
they don't have to necessarily always be the researchers.
That's exactly right.
No, it's fantastic. Where can people learn a little bit more about ICMP? Is it just .com or
.org. So if you go to ICMCP.org,
ICMCP.org.
they'll learn more about our organization. We've got scholarships that we give out.
That's awesome.
We partnered with SANS. SANS has got a diversity training program where they'll give out 40 scholarships to deserving people who apply, so they get free training through SANS.
That's perfect.
We've got a partnership with Black Hat where we fly between 20 and 25 people out to get the full Black Hat experience. So
perfect.
we've got partnerships with a number of different organizations for both training, and then we've got partnerships with corporations, right? Where
That's
you
what I was
can
going to
get
ask.
internships.
Is there a place also where those corporations or organizations can help contribute to ICMCP?
Yes. So and we work with, we've got sponsorships from Google and Microsoft and Target and Palo Alto.
Oh, that's awesome.
So a number of organizations who are constantly giving to support our cause, to help in both scholarships and operational funding so that we can have the programs that we offer to the community.
Oh, that sounds so great, man. I hope it continues to have success.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you, Larry, but before we turn out, is there anything else you'd like to talk about today?
No, listen, you know what, so thank you for the opportunity. I love you guys as an organization because you guys, I think, are one of the few companies that's serving what I talk about, the forgotten market.
Yes.
Right, the SMB market.
And mid-market, yeah.
They make up the majority of companies in the private sector.
They're
by a
the
large
big thing
volume.
at the check, yeah.
But when you come here and you are at RSA and they're looking for the name brand, they're looking for the Fortune 100, the Fortune 1000. And so the markets that you serve, I thank you guys for what you do because I think you are solving a problem that is still yet to be fully solved.
Well, awesome. Thank you for your time, Larry. It's been great.
Thanks, man.